It's such an honor to welcome over 100 friends on the sign-in, elected officials, staff, Highland Canal Conservancy board members, partners, volunteers, donors, and more to the first annual State of the Canal. Here we are today at Denver Water's historic Little Dry Creek property. Looks like autumn here today, but it isn't. We're inside of what used to be the facilities shop, sort of where the maintenance happened at the Highland Canal. And it's now been renovated into office space for the Conservancy because of the generosity of Denver Water. And this behind us is a mural of the Highland Canal over at Marjorie Perry Nature Preserve. It's beautifully done by Evan Anderman. And so before we start, let's just remember for a second what it is that we're talking about. We're talking about the Highland Canal, a 71 mile, 860 acre resource that for over 20, maybe 30 years has been sort of at a state of flux with considerations for what its future was going to be. And the canal's been calling us to step forward and think about it, stepping forward and coming up with a plan for its future. And today we're going to celebrate the success of the planning effort. We're going to celebrate the successes that local governments have had in stepping forward and implementing parts of the plan for the Highland Canal. And we're also going to celebrate the creation of the Canal Collaborative, really an innovative collective impact model that we've created together to guide the future management and care of the Highland Canal. So with that, it's an honor to introduce Jim Lockhead, the CEO of Denver Water, as you know, the owners of the Highland Canal. Jim has a big job. He oversees acres and acres of land, all of the water resources, the delivery systems, and so forth for the Colorado's water. But he also provides state and national leadership to plan and sustain a bright water future for all of us. And for that leadership, we're deeply grateful. And that's his day job. He and Tom Rood and Amy Turney, along with other talented staff at Denver Water, also play a key role in guiding and thinking about the strategies and approach to this incredible transition of the resource that is the Highland Canal. So with that, Jim.
Thank you, Harriet. And Harriet, thank you for your incredible leadership in pulling together the Conservancy to partner with all these jurisdictions to really create a bright future for the canal as a legacy of really a crown jewel for the Denver metropolitan area. And on behalf of Denver Water, it's just really a pleasure for us to be here and be part of this event. It's an exciting day for everyone who has been a part of the process of planning for the future of the canal. In today's environment, when conservation is so important, Denver Water has looked at what we can do with this valuable community resource, one that has cultivated its useful, that really has outlived its useful life as an irrigation delivery system. And in doing so, and looking for that future, we look for partners like the 11 jurisdictions through which the canal transects, and began working with the Highland Canal Conservancy. The collaborative that now exists to govern the canal through the cooperation of these 11 different entities, Denver Water and the Conservancy, is a national model. And I'd like to thank the different groups for their commitment and investment in this resource. 10 years ago, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years since this group came together as the Highland Canal Working Group to chart a new path for this regional legacy. Today's event will be an exciting opportunity to celebrate our progress and to reconnect to the shared vision that we've created. And as we move forward, this powerful collaborative will work to support the canal's transition from a part of Denver Water's irrigation system to a 71-mile linear park and emerging stormwater management system. At Denver Water, we look to be good stewards of the natural resources entrusted to our care. We also work to put the right water sources to the right use, and we actively seek partnerships for mutually beneficial outcomes. The Canal Collaborative encompasses all of these things, and we're proud to stand with everyone today, ready to transform this amazing regional amenity into a true crown jewel. Thank you. Am I turning it over to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Really is a crown jewel, as you can see from the beautiful photo mural behind us. A few housekeeping items before we introduce the video. Today's event is a Zoom webinar, so we can't see your faces out there. A few presenters are going to be on Zoom as well, but many of us are here together, which is really special. If you please use the Zoom Q&A function to submit any questions. If you have any technical issues, please use the chat function. We will put out our office phone number in the chat, and please feel free to call it if you have some technical difficulties. We have someone waiting by to do that, Josh Phillips, capable young man that's working with us. Thanks, Josh. Okay, so with that, we are really excited to share this video that's a compilation putting together the steps that have got us, that have brought us to this point in this journey for the canal.
For many communities, our canal has become a sanctuary, playground, our imaginary wilderness, a common corridor where we meet as neighbors for health and well-being. As the region grows, so has the challenge for our canal.
Our canal needs your help. While Denver Water still owns the Highline, it is partnering with the newly formed Highline Canal Conservancy to plan for our canal's future. Together, we will write a new chapter for this beloved place. For everyone needs a place to connect with nature. And for hundreds of thousands of people, all 71 miles of the Highline Canal will be that place. Connecting people, connecting nature, from the foothills to the plains.
Over the last several years, Denver Water's been looking at the canal, how it operates, and the challenges ahead. We're committed to the long-term preservation and enhancement of the canal, and that's why we've teamed up with the Highline Canal Conservancy to map out a vision that will sustain and enhance the canal well into the future.
Great places don't happen accidentally. They're really the effort of inspired leaders and the citizenry coming together and having a shared vision for what the future can be.
With incredible regional cooperation, the Highline Canal Conservancy led an unprecedented outreach effort in 2016 to harness the community's vision for all 71 miles of the canal. Hours of passionate thinking from over 3,500 citizens led to an inspired, long-term vision, a critical first step for the protection and enhancement of our beloved canal as a regional greenway.
Throughout the course of the summer, we listened to community feedback, and we had 5 themes really rise to the top as being the most consistent. Natural, that it's a natural resource and a home to the region's wildlife. People want to see it preserved as a healthful ecosystem. Secondly, that it's varied, that it passes through many different distinct communities and that should be honored and reflected. Third, that it's connected, that it's really connecting people to each other, to nature, and that it's a safe place to get to, that it's accessible. And then two kind of actions. We heard first that people are really thrilled that we're thinking about the long-term management of the canal, and you have an incredibly motivated leadership team that's so inclusive of all of the jurisdictions, all of the different entities that have a hand in managing this landscape, and this conservancy, which is really wisely putting this community conversation on the front burner. And our fifth theme is enhance. This notion that really there's a lot of things that could be done to improve the experience of the canal.
Today, the role of the canal in the metro area is changing.
The delivery of irrigation in that canal has historically been pretty inefficient. We know that we have to do everything we can to protect public health, which means protecting our environment. That means finding another source of water.
So the Highline Canal Conservancy is working with Denver Water, with the jurisdictions, and with the community, most importantly, to help determine what the future of the canal will be.
By the very nature of how the Highline Canal was built, it basically cuts across drainage basins. So what that means is the areas that would normally drain into a natural drainage way, a channel, a river, gets intercepted by the Highline Canal.
With the help of a grant from the Pisces Foundation, the Highline Canal Conservancy has been able to bring together all of the stakeholders and really facilitate the conversations that need to happen.
The result of all that collaboration and work is STEP, the Stormwater Transformation and Enhancement Program.
This has a host of environmental, economic, and social benefits. Through repurposing the canal and through STEP, we get 100 more days of water along the canal. And increasingly have a 71-mile green infrastructure corridor is an asset that you have to protect.
The story of the canal in its beginning was like a promise of a better future. Those who used it were able to enhance their lives and enhance their property. This is a new way for us to bring that promise of a new future.
The historic Highline Canal has been a treasured resource for over 100 years. Today, a bold, inspiring, and comprehensive plan is repurposing and revitalizing this historic waterway.
The public's engagement in our work for the Highline Canal has been what's inspired us, and it's been what's driven all of the planning from the very beginning.
We've had a huge amount of collaboration, from open houses with hundreds to unique community events, stakeholder focus groups. This is truly a community plan that has multi-tiered benefits for everyone.
The plan consists of 100 critical projects spanning 15 years and over $100 million of investment, giving everyone in the region year-round access to beautiful, multi-use open space. To facilitate this, the plan divides the canal into 5 distinct but connected character zones: Wild Canyon, Rolling Foothills, Wooded Village, Urban Refuge, and Prairie Retreat, and covers several project types. Landscaping and tree care includes preserving and caring for the existing tree canopy while planting 3,500 new trees, as well as supporting biodiversity for the region's wildlife and vegetation by enhancing the more than 450 plant species found along the canal. Access and signage will be improved and expanded, with new trailheads and access points to make it easier to enjoy all 71 miles of the canal. And new directional and interpretive signs will guide users to explore and learn more of this amazing resource. Public safety and experience are vital, and so the plan places top priority on the development of safer at-grade crossings and the construction of new underpasses. The success of the plan and the life of the canal depends on a public-private funding model that will encourage continued collaborative effort between private citizens, foundations, local government, and key partners like Denver Water and Arapahoe County through the newly founded Canal Collaborative.
The Highline Canal is the heart and soul of this region. There's nothing like it in its reach and its magnitude and its potential to impact the future quality of life for people.
Nature has its way of creating what a space ought to be. And nature helped us out with the Highline Canal. It was designed as a way to get water. And what it turned out to be was an amenity.
It's also a unifying force for the Denver metro area. You can travel all the way from Waterton Canyon to Green Valley Ranch along that canal and see the diversity and the people who love to be outside and enjoying the amenities that this canal brings.
Even though the Highline Canal is in a time of transition, Denver Water wants our partners and the community to know that we remain invested in the future of the Highline Canal. To demonstrate that commitment, the Denver Water Board in 2020 approved a historic $10 million pledge to the Conservancy to help provide for the long-term care of the canal. As we navigate the evolving future for the lands the Highline Canal irrigates, Denver Water is excited to further the work with our regional partners to find additional utility for this cherished resource.
We needed to have a group, an entity that brought together all of these various jurisdictions so that we could hear from each one of those entities, hear from the public about what was most important.
And that is what is now known as the Canal Collaborative, and that really formalizes the collaboration among these regional partners to preserve, protect, and enhance the canal for the future.
This is a legacy conversion. It won't happen overnight. And so having that long-term commitment from governmental agencies, from Denver Water, and from the community, that's how we're going to be able to enable this vision.
Makes you pause to think about all the work that's gone on and the commitment from Denver Water and partners when you see that video. It's been an incredible journey and a very successful journey. And with that, it's a pleasure to introduce local leaders from the different governmental, particularly the counties today, that have helped guide the planning and implementation of over $30 million in improvement projects during this planning phase alone. We refer to these as phase one accomplishments, and they're focused in areas of access improvements, connectivity enhancements, and enhancements that will improve the environmental health of the canal. So with that, I'm excited to welcome Kendra Black and Scott Gilmore. Kendra is a longtime user, grew up on the Highline Canal, a passionate advocate, and a councilwoman in Denver from Southeast Denver. And Scott is the new Deputy Executive Director of Parks and a key strategic partner in the planning from the very beginning. Welcome.
Thank you, Harriet, and thank you for including me in this important program. As Harriet said, I am a lifelong user of the Highline Canal, and I am incredibly passionate about it. This building is 6 miles from my house on the Highline Canal. I represent District 4, which is Southeast Denver, and we have a long stretch of the canal through my district, and it is the most treasured recreational asset in my district. My constituents are passionate about the canal and they absolutely love it. So I'm excited to celebrate this day and all the accomplishments of Denver Water and the Canal Conservancy in their vision and action to enhance and improve this asset. In particular, I want to celebrate the stormwater pilot program, which is in Eisenhower Park in my district. Very excited to see how that improves the amount of water that we see in the canal. So hopefully we can get more trees along all the stretches of the canal, including in your neck of the woods, Scott. Also happy to see more tree planting going in along the canal. And then also I really want to celebrate the underpasses The underpasses at Colorado Boulevard in Hampton are an incredible improvement for the users of the canal from a safety and an enjoyment perspective. We'll be opening up the new underpass at Mississippi Avenue later this spring, which I'm also really happy about. And my own pretty big pet project is an underpass at Yale and Holly, which will have to be built by 2027. It is in design right now. So I'm excited about those. And then a couple of other pet projects I'll just mention is a few pieces of art that I personally, through my office, commissioned. There's an incredible bench that we're calling Cottonwood Critters along the canal at Holly and Eastman. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really fun. And then there's a smaller one called Foxy along the canal in Bible Park. So again, thank you, Denver Water and the Highland Canal Conservancy. Jim and Harriet couldn't have done it without the both of you. So thank you.
So Scott Gilmore, I'm the Deputy Executive Director of Denver Parks and Recreation, and I want to personally thank Jim Lockhead from Denver Water. He was one of my first bosses ever. So that was 30 years ago, so it kind of even ages me and him. So, but I want to thank him for the visionary way that he has looked at the canal and what we can do in the canal now. If this would have been thought of, 30 years ago in Green Valley Ranch, instead of building large detention ponds to put stormwater in, we could have put that stormwater straight into the canal and actually built more functional parks, but we can still make that happen going into the future. So in a time of challenge, globally with a global pandemic, historical social unrest, and a chaotic political landscape, our parks and open spaces have been a refuge for the public to get to. It gives the public a place to go and recharge and rest up and be able to deal with all the issues that we are dealing with on a daily basis. In Denver, we're blessed with having 17 miles of trail and 136 acres of open space that's related to the canal. It's just an amenity that is just a blessing to the city and county of Denver. That's critical, though, to us in the city because it stretches from one part of the city to another part of the city. It crosses socioeconomic boundaries in our city and allows Denver to really address an equity issue on the communities that might not have access to high quality open spaces. This canal and the adjacent open space helps us address the 10-minute walk or roll. That we want to make sure that every person in Denver can be within a 10-minute walk or roll of a high quality park. So this canal has just been a blessing to us, and I want to personally thank Harriet and the Highline Canal Conservancy team for all the work they've done. They have brought together all the partners, and we might not have always agreed, but we have all had a singular goal of making sure this canal benefits all of the region and the communities that we serve. So thank you very much, Harriet. Thank you, Jen, and everybody and all the partners we've been working for all the hard work that has gone into this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott and Kendra and Councilwoman Black. Really gratifying to hear Scott and Kendra talk about the commitment that the city and county of Denver have and the importance of the connectivity of that canal to different communities and different areas that lack access to quality open space. Really powerful. I'm excited now to welcome representatives from Arapahoe County. We have Commissioner Nancy Sharp, a lifelong almost canal user, former mayor of Greenwood Village, and Nancy lives very close to the Highline Canal. Nancy was instrumental in the formation of the Highline Canal Working Group, and it's more than fair to say that without the visionary leadership of Arapahoe County with Commissioner Sharp and the other commissioners there, Beckman, and with Shannon Carter, that this project and the Conservancy and getting Denver Water at the table would never have happened. They were the ones that stepped forward and funded that working group in the beginning. And so a big thanks and call out to them. I want to introduce also Shannon Carter, who will have some words to say. A trusted guide for over probably 12 years on this project in protecting the canal. Really one of the visionaries that got this concept moving forward of the canal as a critical greenway for the region. I just also want to note that Shannon too, it's a theme here, spent many youthful days along the canal up in Aurora. So we're thrilled to have you guys. Thanks. Period, and thank you, Jim. We really do appreciate it. It's hard to believe that the working group started in Arapahoe County 10 years ago, and an important part was bringing all of the jurisdictions, cities and counties along the Highline Canal together to really talk about its importance. So it's fun to be here to see it evolve into a Highline Canal Collaborative that we're going to make official here just shortly. We're going to share a few projects in a few minutes that have been completed in the last 8 years. And we're going to focus on access. Our part is going to focus on access because I can't think of more important. If you have an asset, but you can't get to it, that isn't going to work. You're not going to have the kind of buy-in from the community that you need. And it isn't going to support the community needs, improving quality of life, and preserving the places that we treasure. And this is going to, this initiative that we've had going is going to be a generational one that we can look back, that our children and grandchildren can benefit from as well. So through the lifetime of the program, Arapahoe County Open Spaces has contributed more than $7.5 million to the Highline Canal Working Group projects. And that is all through a 1/4 cent sales tax that thankfully the voters in Arapahoe County last fall overwhelmingly supported and made it, it will permanent. It's not going to expire. So we will have funding and committed to that, not only the Highline Canal, but other areas, open space areas across the county that will benefit from the use of all of those dollars and generosity of our residents. The collaborative is a model for how we can work together across jurisdictions to accomplish great things in our community. It reinforces the power of partnerships to do more and be more for the residents of our community. I know Arapahoe County will, long after I have gone from being a commissioner, future commissioners will continue to support this initiative. And I'm going to now turn it over to Shannon Carter, who I have to add to Harriet's comments. It was his vision, and from that seed, we are standing here today and accomplishing to celebrate the accomplishments that we have and look forward to the future. So Shannon.
Kind words, Harriet and Mr. Short. Really appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been done, because of course it's always nice to have great concepts, great plans, but we also want to implement those plans. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the improvements that's happened, both with bridges, with trailheads, and amenities. For the past 8 years, this multi-jurisdictional group have really focused in on how do we actually make these improvements. And we've made significant investments to enhance access along the canal corridor. And we certainly recognize, as I mentioned before, that access is critical. You can have a great asset, but you can't get to it, as Mr. Sharp mentioned it earlier. And so some of the new pedestrian bridges, which should be on your screen now, improved the access. A number of those bridges were replaced because they were built in like the 70s and they had safety issues as well as maintenance issues. So being able to replace bridges across the canal to get to the trail, to get to the communities and the neighborhood was important. And so this includes 4 new pedestrian bridges. And of course, this was in Centennial, Littleton. And this was part of a joint project with one of our local recreation districts, the South South Suburban Parks and Recreation District. And of course, there were also 4 additional bridges that were done in Denver. The trailheads that we mentioned, of course, is a way to provide access. And so we built 3 new trailheads to allow users to, from all over the various areas in the communities, to have access to this incredible resource. The county is proud to support the acquisition and the development of some of the trailheads, the Quebec Way trailhead that's in our 4 square mile area, the Bellevue trailhead, which is in Greenwood Village, the Triple Creek trailhead that's in the city of Aurora, and of course, all of this allows access to the canal, particularly the Aurora, the Triple Creek trailhead. It not only provides access to the Highline Canal, but also to the Sand Creek and Triple Creek trails. And so again, it's just one trailhead that does so many different things for us. Having more trailheads and access points allow us to disperse the impact. We certainly recognize that sometimes when you go into the foothills, the parking lots are all full because they have limited access. And so being able to have access in various points along the trailhead and along the trails it makes it a lot more pleasant experience for all of our users. It's also great for people's health because being able to walk the canal, bike the canal, and do all kinds of recreation along that 71-mile jewel. And we also mentioned the fact that we've done a lot of enhancements as far as amenities. Those new amenities are another way that we can improve the user experience, or the experience of our public. Restrooms are important. I'm at that age where you come home to judge how far you can go by when you can go to a restroom. So again, being able to have that as an amenity is a great thing. And of course, we mentioned as far as some of the displays that's on your screen, some of those restrooms were at Orchard Road, just outside of where we're standing now in Greenwood Village. We also put a restroom in Milliken Park, which is close to the South Suburban Recreation District area. Another great amenity is a trail along a scenic outlook, which is Sumac Hill Farms Overlook in the city of Centennial. South Suburban Parks and Recreation District led this project. Arapahoe County, of course, helped provide some of the funding for this. This was done in 2016. The property is immediately adjacent to the Highline Canal, and of course that overlook provides a place for people to sit, relax, and of course enjoy the open space. And finally, one of our newest amenities that we completed just a year or so ago is the Longs Pine Grove Trailhead and Park. Now that park is highly used and highly anticipated and highly appreciated. It's easy access to trails, the picnic areas, the restroom, a natural playground, a woodsy field, because thus the name Longs Pine Grove. And so it's been a very popular amenity that we successfully completed just recently. In addition to these amenities, there's been major landscaping enhancements, tree plantings, and of course, all of this to enhance the experience of our citizens. Yes, we've accomplished a lot already, but as we've mentioned, there's much more to go. And so we are proud to be part of the group that's not only bringing everyone together, but also putting boots on the ground, so to speak, and making those enhancements. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shannon and Nancy. Commissioner Sharp, truly that the funds that the Arapahoe County Open Space Program has brought forward for the canal has leveraged so much more. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if you add it up, how the money that they put forward was leveraged by local governments and some private funds and other outside grant organizations, it would be a very large number, and it's made a big impact for the quality of the experience of trail users up and down the canal. And so finally, we want to welcome Matt Williams. Matt is the Strategic Staff Lead and Assistant Director of Public Works and Engineering in Douglas County. He's going to carry the charge for Douglas County today and talking about their improvements. So thanks, Matt, for being here.
Thank you, Harriet. Again, my name is Matt Williams, the Assistant Director of Public Works Engineering with Douglas County. I'll cover the canal's transition to stormwater management, which is underway with 6 projects implemented, covering nearly 12 of the 70 plus miles of the canal. The transition includes repurposing the canal as green stormwater infrastructure, finding a new utility function for the historic canal, and improving water quality and resiliency. 6 different jurisdictions have now implemented stormwater projects using the canal. Those jurisdictions are Mirabel Metro District, Douglas County, the City of Littleton, Southeast Metro Stormwater Authority, the City of Greenwood Village, and the City and County of Denver. A couple of projects I would like to highlight, one of which is in the City and County of Denver. They were the first jurisdiction to install water quality berms within the canal, which will promote filtration, infiltration, and improve water quality in the area. 3 berms were installed along the canal from Wellshire Golf Course to I-25. The second project is in Douglas County, where a partnership between Shea Homes, the Mirabel Metro District, the Highline Canal Conservancy, Denver Water, and Douglas County resulted in a project that improves water quality and adds passive recreation to a new housing development. In order to see this project, you can contact me, but you can head south on Santa Fe to Titan Road, go west on Titan Road, and north on Roxborough Park Road. There's a trailhead just north of the canal where it crosses Roxborough Park Road, and you will be right in the middle of the Shea Homes housing community that was developed there. Douglas County participates on the STEP team, working together with all the stormwater managers along the canal to identify opportunities where managing stormwater in the canal makes sense, and we look forward to continuing this collaboration with our regional partners. Thank you for having me. I'll turn it back over to Harriet.
Matt and Commissioner Thomas and the County of Douglas, I think that we all owe big thanks to them for working so long and diligently with Shea Properties in that project, and to Denver Water. That was the first project out of the chute, and it took a long time, but it's also a model of how we can partner with developers along the canal and get them to invest in some of the improvements that are needed. And we're seeing more of that up in the north in Aurora at Painted Prairie, which is exciting. All of those accomplishments are amazing, and it's powerful to think about what is to come now that we have a plan and we're formalizing the collaborative, and we have systems in place to streamline collaboration, and Conservancy is here actively raising funds to support improvements. So thank you all for highlighting those projects. You know, in 2010, when Arapahoe County asked us to meet together in partnership, little did we know what we would and could and will accomplish together. This work is a collaboration, and it represents the first time in the 140-year history of the canal that over 14 governmental agencies, other partners, and a nonprofit organization have come together with Denver Water to actively work toward a common goal. And our common goal is now set out clearly in front of us. You listened to the video, saw the highlights of the plan. We have a plan that's been adopted by all local governments, and we have now a structure today to help guide that. And so creation of a plan for the future of the canal was not a simple task. With over 11 governmental entities involved, ownership with Denver Water, and the varied interests, uses, and needs on the table from all these partners, it was a process that required deep collaboration and trust and respect for local perspectives. I want to talk I'm going to go through just a few, what I have pulled out as sort of key strategies and approaches to this project that I think were instrumental in the success that this collaboration has achieved and will achieve in the future. And the first one is the canal is like a hope diamond. So it's more than the sum of its parts. Deep belief in the continued ownership by Denver Water of the majority of that entire canal. It drove partnership. It drove us all to think about what we could do together and not how we could pull apart and do our own little piece. So that was one. Number 2, commitment to partnership. We began planning with the common belief that together we could do more for the canal than any one of us could do alone. Our partnership has really been built on trust, and like I said, respect for local was a really critical piece. Respect for the local entities, those governmental jurisdictions and their requirements, their limits, the stormwater agencies, what they could do, what the counties could do, what Denver Water could do, and what the Conservancy could do, and figuring out ways that together we could parcel this together into a big puzzle to do more. And I think it was Shannon that really drove that concept home for us. Number 3 is power of the public. From the beginning, we believed, and I firmly believed, that by harnessing the voices of thousands of canal enthusiasts and engaging hundreds and thousands of people, literally thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of people in public open houses, that we could use that power to align the partners together behind a bold and common vision. Number 4, public-private partnership. As you heard, there are private developers involved, but the Conservancy's creation was really inspired by the proven strategy that a nonprofit park benefit organization can deeply engage the public and raise serious private philanthropic funds to do more for the canal than the governments can do alone. And number 5, think big and be bold. It's an overused expression by Daniel Burnham, but it's one of our favorites. Make no little plans, they have no magic to stir one's blood. And I think that Denver Water felt very strongly, and Tom Rood would introduce this often at meetings, that we need to break out of the limits of past planning. We need to think with a tabula rasa. We need to think beyond what the canal's been in the past and think about what it can be in the future. And that really drove us to look at all options to fully unlock the full potential of this tremendous resource. Number 6, establishing a new future for the canal required advancing awareness in the community and helping people really understand the challenges of water sustainability and the need for new modes of stewardship for the canal itself. The planning process increased awareness about water sustainability in the region and unique challenges that face the canal. At the beginning of the public meetings, people were very wary when we introduced this concept, but shortly they began to learn and understand, and so use the planning process to educate people. This awareness led to a public understanding that alternate uses for the canal, such as using it for managing stormwater, could be positive and would provide multiple benefits, not just for the Highland Canal users, but for the entire health of the environment in the region. And so with those common understandings and strategies, along with a few more that I heard today, we move forward, and together we've had, as you heard from the video, incredible success in creating a common vision that the community guided with those powerful objectives, and then moving on to the full adoption by the local governments and all of our partners in Denver Water Board to the plan for the Highland Canal. And so with all that momentum and trust, it set the stage for today, where we are all here to celebrate the official creation of the Canal Collaborative. This new governance structure will help guide the future of the Highland Canal. It will help us implement the plan for the Highland Canal. Most importantly, as we've talked about, implementation of this plan is what is so important to us. We don't want it sitting on the shelf. And obviously it's been successful already with over $30 million in investments while the planning was going on. This Canal Collaborative, it institutionalizes and streamlines rules that we've already had. to identify the responsibilities for long-term management, finance, and governance of the canal through application of what is commonly known as a collective impact model. Collective impact is based upon the premise that we've already built into our planning that together we can do more by combining forces and mixing agencies and governments together than any single agency could do alone. This model of collaboration really has emerged as a way for diverse organizations across sectors to work together on common problems that provide greater benefits than any individual group could do alone. We modeled this incredible collaborative model after Mount Tam. We looked at what was going on around the country, studied by Stanford University. And this seemed to be a very strong way to do more together. With such a diverse group of partners, it's a perfect model for us. And I think that we'll see great success. So not only have we created this and the plans, but I think we all need to recognize that we're setting an example, beginning with Arapahoe County's formation of the working group, for what it means to have real trust and interjurisdictional partnership for sustainability and impact of your work. And so together, we will do more than any one of us can do alone. And with that, it's my total honor to introduce our new board chair, really an outstanding leader in our state and in our region. We're incredibly lucky to have Paula Hurstmark as the new leader of the Highland Canal Conservancy as our board chair. Not only has she led public organizations, she's led private, a number of nonprofits, and she's the former chair of Denver Water Board. So perfect role for Paula. Paula.
Thank you, Harriet. And thank you all for being here. It's an honor to be here, to be part of this first State of the Canal. You know, when you stand back and look at the polarization that we have in this country, and when you look at how issues around water have become and how they've been highlighted in our own state and region, you would think that it might be very difficult to put together a group of people who are in public office and serving in the public sector to accomplish anything really in this kind of an environment. And yet the very reverse has happened. This collaborative is an extraordinary model for the country. It is an extraordinary thing that has happened here that involves all political parties, cities, counties. It's an amazing thing as it crosses through the whole of the metropolitan area. And I think one of the reasons for that is because the canal, without any politics, without anybody advocating for it through the years up until now, the canal has a constituency. The cities and counties that are near to it and or on it love this canal, love this recreational opportunity, and their constituents love it. And so I think it is in part because the people of our communities love this resource that this whole thing has been so successful. That, together with people who care more about taking care of the public, taking care of the resources that people need to have a decent quality of life, the good-heartedness and the strategic skills and so on of these community leaders in our cities and our counties have made all the difference in making this happen for our communities. So thank you all for what you have accomplished in this really crazy time. What you have done is special and amazing and truly important for our larger community. It is further a great example of a public and private partnership. The collaborative is a structure that allows partners to work together to do, as many have said today, what no one entity alone can do. And so that partnership is so important. The Conservancy sees as a big part of its mission to raise the money to support the improvement projects that are done by the cities and counties and also are done by the Conservancy itself. Thanks to the generosity of Denver Water, the Conservancy is able to leverage public funds with private money to establish an endowment to support the long-term care of the canal. We're working on a fun name for it. We're not releasing it yet, but this is something that is going to permit us to be sure that the canal is there and in good shape for generations to come. And while we've made a lot of progress, there is still a lot of work to be done. And I think, Harriet, you may have mentioned that the plan recommends $150 million of investment over the next 15 years. There are several exciting projects that are going to take place this year and are in fact moving forward now. Aurora will begin construction on an overpass over I-70, massive project. Over 150 new wayfinding signs will be installed. More than 125 trees just this year will be planted as we work to plant an average of 50 trees per mile across the canal as recommended by the plan. Conservancy is here to support all of that work. As the backbone organization and the back office organization of the Canal Collaborative, we're here to support our jurisdictional partners. Through private fundraising, we will invest in the enhancement and care of the canal. We have a canal conservation corps that will harness the commitment of the community to care for the canal by engaging volunteers in its stewardship and outreach. We can't do this without your leadership. And we're deeply appreciative to Denver Water, to Arapahoe County, and to all our jurisdictional partners that come together to do more for our canal. I have to give a particular thank you to Denver Water and to Jim Lockhead, who has a vision for Denver Water that has translated into something really important for the Highline Canal Conservancy and for our residents moving forward. Jim has been an amazing leader for Denver Water. He's been an amazing leader for the larger community. I just want to make my personal thank you to him and for your leadership and for all that Denver Water has done. Tom Rood sat by our side at almost every meeting of the Conservancy in the very beginning to help us and to be a guide. He was an extraordinary resource. An attorney came along to help him later in the process, but all these people have been amazing. I've never met you, Shannon, but your name has been a constant from the very beginning. And so we have amazing people involved in this whole process. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you, and onward. We've got something great to do. We've got a great beginning. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you so much, Paula, for that really powerful talk. We at the Conservancy take the trust that all of you have put into our organization really seriously. And the stewardship of the canal is where we stand. That's what our goal is. And I appreciate Paula drawing that out. Before we formalize the creation of the Canal Collaborative with some signatures happening, I want to just call out a special thanks to Josh Phillips. He's our Director of Planning and Implementation. He has worked tirelessly to develop work plans for the first time ever for the canal. Even before the Canal Collaborative was formed, Josh was out helping create really valuable work plans where private funding will match public funding to move forward and implement so much of the plan for the Highland Canal over the next 4 to 5 years. I think that it's important for us to recognize that this employee of the Conservancy has gone above and beyond what is often expected. And I also want to call out the fact that it was Josh that's run around and gotten 14 signatures for the Canal Collaborative MOU. So with that, I think we're going to move on to signatures.
He's done that before.
Thank you all so much for coming. This is an important, really important day for the Highland Canal and for the implementation of the plan. And what a wonderful celebration with all of you of all the work that's being accomplished. Thanks.